So I'll give my 2 cents on this engine flush, how to flush the engine. There are a million videos on this on the internet, but I can only add what I learned, my tips. It's the BMW engine here. Doesn't matter what kind of engine, but some diesel engine requires a different type of flushing fluid. This is for gasoline engines. So make sure you check that. So that's tip number 1, of course. Now, as you are there, you check a few other things, like here in this one, you can see a crack here, right? That means the intake air is being bypassed. It's sucking more air through this. This is the mass airflow sensor. So that's being bypassed. Whatever is telling that air coming from here is actually more than that, because it's extra air leaking here. So check those kind of obvious leaks, cracked hoses, this and that. Now engine flush I'll be using because the engine was sitting for a while and there's some sludge and this and that. So they said 5 minutes. You can see there, 5 minutes engine flush. Personally, I use it a little longer than 5 minutes really. But do not rev the engine at that point. I don't, because the oil is breaking down fast at that point. Some engines, you have to judge. Some engines, oil is not that bad, not much residue. No point even using engine flush that much or so. Now, as I flush the engine, the oil gets dirty and then I drain it, right? Put a new oil filter, like in this car, this is the oil filter. After draining the oil, put a new oil filter. I even use some blower fan actually, like a heat gun kind of thing, through this engine oil port. Blow it as oil draining down there. So almost all the oil comes out, because you don't want to keep this engine flush sitting in the engine here and there stuck. And then you put new engine oil and it dies very fast. The oil breaks down because there's still some engine flush residue left. There will be always some left, but we try to eliminate. So in this case, I'll add this, run the car as the manufacturer said for 5 minutes. Do not drive the car, just idle the car and idle the engine. And then I'll be draining it. Let drain it, take the time to drain it. Let the oil come out for 10, 20, 30 minutes, drain it. And as you blow the air here, it'll come more and more and more. After that, you close the drain plug. Of course, change the oil filter, put a brand new filter, and then add new oil. Are we done? Yeah, we're almost done, but not yet. What I do is, with that new oil, the new oil that I put, I don't actually put very expensive oil. I put like regular, well, if it's synthetic you are using, put synthetic, but I do not drive it for another 8,000 miles or so with that, or 5,000 miles with that. I change that oil after 1,000 miles, about 1,500 kilometers, 1,000 kilometers, whatever it is, so that new oil now is mixed with the residual, this fluid, and then I drain it again and change the oil filter as well. It's a bit expensive, but that takes most of the engine flush out, engine flushing fluid out. So after that, when I add the best oil, full synthetic or whatever the engine needs, and then you can drive it for a while, but keep checking and make sure that the viscosity of the oil is still there. So now what the manufacturer is saying. So it's saying that you have to check the oil level, make sure oil level is right, then start the engine and run it until the engine is warm or hot. So until its oil temperature gauge goes at the center. Then you add this thing right here in the oil filler cap, and then idle the engine for another 5 minutes. they did mention that rev it little bit, tiny bit, not too high, maybe 1000, 1200. Yeah, I'll be probably doing that, 1500 or so. I'll hold it for 2-3 minutes so the oil pump sprays all over. One thing, very important thing, is the oil pump must be good. It's essential for any engine anyway. So oil pump must be very good. One way to verify without checking many things is when you start the engine, take this cap off. You will see that the oil splattering inside. You'll see the oil flowing a little bit, spraying all over. So that's how it is. Now let's start the car and warm it up. So I added it here and running it for a few minutes now. I'll shut it down. Shut it down. So I shut down the engine and it's oil change time, oil and filter change time. What I'll do is actually, as I said, I'll let it drain and I'll let it drain for a long time. I will actually, maybe I'll not let it drain now. I deactivated the battery so car cannot start accidentally. We cannot drive it. And I'll let it sit overnight. So all the oil from the top of the engine, all the oil comes down to the bottom. And then tomorrow, because I have the time, I don't need the car right away. So tomorrow I'll drain it for over 20-30 minutes and make sure every bit comes out. Okay, and I'll not show that, and that should be enough for today. Thanks for watching. Now, people who are actually watching up to this part, so a little bit of stuff for them, especially for BMW people. So this is a 1.9 liter BMW engine, M44. What is where? I'll just show quickly. The ECU, electronic engine computer engine control unit, is right there behind that black box. In BMW it's called DME, or digital motor electronics. You can bring the battery from the trunk right here. You can put it right there too. There's the battery positive jump boost. You can even install it there, easier sometimes. This is the coil pack, 4 cylinders engine, 1, 2, 3, 4 cylinders right there, down there. Coil pack. This is the I think this is the coolant temperature sensor right there. To open it, it's a bit tricky. You have to press turn. This is the oil filter. Right below the oil filter there is a one wire connected, and that's for the oil pressure switch. Oil pressure switch. This is the air filter, mass airflow sensor. This is, I think, the ISC, or intake idle control valve, or ISC, this guy. And to open these things, just push